My name is Dr. Matt Horn, and I want to welcome you to English 1020 at Tri-C. This is an online class, and it's asynchronous. So there is no live meeting. There are just videos that you have to watch online and material that you have to do online at your own pace. The course schedule is going to be online in the work folders. I have 8 work folders in the course, and in those 8 work folders is all the work. At the top of each work folder, you can see a due date for each work folder, and everything in that folder is due by that due date that is in the folder's title. I find that it keeps things simple. If there's only really one due date you have to worry about every 15 days or so, or for shorter classes, every week. Depends if you're in a 12-week class or an 8-week class or a 16-week class. But please pay attention to those due dates. They're there to help you manage the workload. Of course, if you need a few extra days for any work folder, just let me know, and you'll get those, because I know life is busy and many of you are doing many things besides just going to school. So, but please know that the course has to be done by the last work folder, due date, and that I rarely offer or allow students to take an incomplete. I really do not really like to do that. I haven't done that in years, and I don't plan to do that. I feel like once you understand how the class works, you can schedule out the time and do the work. And many students have done that and have gotten great grades. So the due dates are there in the work folders, and just make sure that everything is done by the due date of the last work folder, which is work folder number 8. Those work folders are open, by the way. You can work ahead, and you can submit things early if you know that you want to work ahead so that you can have a week or two off at a certain time in the class. Great way to manage the course, and I can understand that, and there's no problem with me if you want to do that. How do I count attendance in an online course like this where there are no live meetings? I can simply click on your name as a student, and I can see how many times you've logged into the class. I can see when the last time is that you've logged in. I don't spend my minutes and hours policing everybody, but if I had to see how often you've engaged with the class, I can tell on a weekly basis. So I would say if you log in at least twice a week and spend about 20-30 minutes online each time, then I appreciate that. I'm going to consider that perfect attendance. I know that many times you'll be working on the class offline, so I'm not saying that you have to stay online logged into the Blackboard, the class site, whether it's Canvas or Brightspace or Blackboard. And I'm not going to be tracking that, but I do want to see that you've been opening the class and spending some time there watching the videos, looking through the work folders every week. The class is out of 100 points, and your job is just to start earning the points as soon as possible and letting them accumulate. As we get towards the end of the course, you can just add your points together, go to My Grades or the grade page in our class site online, and you can see your total. Look for the grade, the points total, and that is actually your percentage grade. So by the end of the course, if you have 88 points out of 100, you have a B plus. All right, I'll probably bump that up to an A. So it's out of 100. Now, if you track every assignment, there might be more than 100 points. Maybe there's 110. That's because I like to have a few extra credit in there. But at the end of the day, the total number of points you have is your actual grade. And I've had plenty of students that go over 100. They do all the assignments. They get them in on time. They do a good job with that. So that's good. As far as textbooks go, there are no textbooks you have to buy. We'll be using free online material. And there will be reading. Obviously, you're going to be reading essays, a lot of essays in this class. But there will be essays that I either have uploaded to Blackboard or I'm asking you to go online and find them because they're still available. So I hope that you didn't buy something that you couldn't afford for this class. Please know that I'm not requiring that. If you do have an English handbook and you don't necessarily need it anymore, or you're not going to need it for this class, you might want to return it to the bookstore or sell it if you don't want to keep it. So it's up to you. Now, what about the major assignments? Well, this is a research writing course, and so you will be having to work with a capstone paper or a major research paper. There will be some small essays to do that lead up to this big essay. They will all be working together so that you can use previous work for the next essay. And then as you write that, incorporating the previous work and submit it, you get some grades for that. And then you can use that to build and to continue growing it, if you will, so that at the end you have a nice research portfolio or a research paper. But you get to pick your topic. You can write on any topic that you pick. But there are some more instructions I want to share with you in some another set of videos. Please watch those after this. But I just wanted to let you know that the big project of the course is the research paper. You get to start now researching. You get to pick your topic, come up with the topic, see what you can find online about it, and then learn how to narrow the topic. So many times students will start off with picking a big topic, say mental health or education, and or the police or something, and initially they can start off maybe just researching that in a big way, but until they learn how to narrow that topic quickly, the information gets overwhelming. And students that don't learn how to narrow the topic often end up writing a very general, very surface level paper that doesn't really allow them to grow as a writer, because there's just so much to say on the topic and they have only 2,000 words or 2,500. Please check the requirements for the final paper in Work Folder 8. But you're only going to have so many words to work with. You don't want to try to write this broad paper on nutrition, and for this really small research project, right? It's much better if you take a broad topic like that and initially you look at as much as you can about it, but then you learn quickly how to narrow it down. So, for example, if I were looking at nutrition, I might eventually want to focus on just Coke machines in middle schools. Like, how did they get there? What kind of deal is Coke making with the middle schools? Is it a tit for tat? Are they telling these middle schools, put our vending machines here and we will pave your parking lot? How does that work? And why do we, as a culture, want our elementary school students or middle school students drinking Coke? That's way too much sugar for them, especially when we ask them then to sit still after that. So there seems to be something weird going on there, and I would like to research this. So once I come up with an idea like that under nutrition, I might then type in just Google or use AI to find some sources here. What's the deal with Coke machines in the hallways of middle schools? I mean, seriously, start with that and see where you go. You can always talk to me. I have a lot of sources, and I'm automatically thinking of two for anybody who wants to take this as a topic. By the way, anything I might mention as an example, you can actually take as a research topic if you want to. But for this Coke machine thing, I would say you need to start with the book, The Coke Machine. Now, the machine there is referring to the Coke company. And then I would say you also need to watch a documentary called Fed Up with Katie Couric and one other commentator. Well, take mental health. Mental health is huge. It's huge. But is there a way to focus, to narrow this down? Well, how does Hollywood present mental health? There you go. Now, the movie industry is still pretty big, so you might want to say, well, I wonder how, main movie houses, the main producers, the main distributors like Fox, Columbia, Universal, MGM, Paramount, these huge movie houses. How have they historically portrayed, um, you know, the insane? Okay, and and then you might realize, well, there's still too much here. Maybe I should be looking at how independent film portray the insane. So that's one way to do it. I mean, at least that's a narrower than just like um, mental health. That's way too big. You're gonna find stuff on all over. I mean, just look at all the different maladies we have, or all the different mental conditions we have. I mean, this is too much. So it's fine to start broadly, but then you need to be able to focus it. Okay, focus it. So I had a student a couple of classes back that wanted to write about computers. Well, literally technology. And I'm like, well, that's huge. I mean, technology is going to cover everything from glasses to the mouse to the clock behind me to, I mean, it's just, well, okay, let's narrow it to computers. But that's still too broad, right? So after a while, I just simply asked the student to write a paper explaining me whether or not he believes students will ever be able to think. And I asked him to take it all the way down to the computer circuitry. At the bottom of it all, you have electrons that are still running around through chemical bonds along the circuit board. That's all it is. Electrons reacting with force. And I don't understand how a computer can ever think if that's all it really is at the bottom material analysis. Unless you believe an electron can think, I don't know why you would believe 100 billion trillion electrons could think. Now you might say, well, but I think, and I'm a bunch of electrons, and I would say, oh, absolutely, but I personally believe that life is miraculous. I do believe in a non-material world. I believe in an intelligence present. I believe that the person is different from the material. So by default, I believe in eternal life. I believe in the soul. I have no problem with that. I'm not going to try to defend that to you, because that's not where the burden of defense is. If you are trying to tell me computers think, then I'm going to be like, well, tell me how an atom can think, because unless you're willing to say a computer has a soul. Now I can actually respect that, because I'm saying a body has a soul. Now, if you tell me the computer has a soul, then I'm going to say, yeah, then a computer could probably think. But you have to be willing to embrace that belief. So when you narrow it down, you might have something interesting to work with, okay? That could actually be a more engaging paper. So please take this opportunity, if nothing else, to begin broadly with a research topic that you can pick, and then to narrow it down to something that's manageable. But that is your big assignment in the course. Now, there will be many essays and articles that you have to read that I've pulled from online or from books or whatnot, and I've loaded them up. And I want you to see how other writers are working with thoughts and ideas and insights in a short piece way. What I mean by a short piece way is that an essay is a short piece. It's not a book. It's not a chapter in a book. And this is really what you are working towards. You're working towards writing a short piece, an essay. And why don't we take a look at what other people have done? And whatever is happening in those essays, you can imitate. Okay, so they're sort of telling you what type of style you can use, what type of language you could use. But they all have a goal that they're doing. Each essay has an individual goal. And as it tries to meet that goal, that's what it's trying to do as an act of solid writing. And if it does meet it, then we're going to say that's good writing. So now, I do want you to remember something. I'll talk about this later, but I want you to already begin to think about CMR, okay? Create interest, maintain it, reward it. Create, maintain, reward. And that's really what I'm going to be looking for in your writing, is how do you create interest? How are you going to maintain it for me? And then how are you going to reward it for me? And by the reward there, I mean just the sense that I learned something, or that was interesting, or that was really worth reading, or that wasn't repetitive, it wasn't redundant, it didn't waste my time. And I feel like, now that sounds a little harsh, but I feel like we all do this. If we get involved with a movie or a conversation that we do not think is creating interest, maintaining it, and rewarding us with interest, then we tend to turn it off. We tend to look for another video. We tend to stop the music and listen to something else. We tend to close down the conversation, move on, or change the topic at least. So you were actually pretty good at creating piece text, in this case a verbal text, that creates interest, maintains it, rewards it. That's why you have friends. That's why you can hold a conversation. And you need to learn how to bring that skill to writing. And that's really what this class is going to be about. There will be some other elements about learning how to use the library via the online tools, and then learning how to get your paper, in MLA format or APA format or whatever, and then submitting it. You're learning how to use sources, putting them in there, stuff like that. Really quickly, I want to talk about AI, and then I'll close down the video, and there's some others that you need to watch. But as far as artificial intelligence goes, I think you need to learn how to use it. I think you need to be AI literate by the time you get to your work, your job down the line, your career. You can use it here to teach yourself stuff about maybe what a thesis is, or you can ask it what it thinks about your research. You can look for tools. When it comes to actually writing the essay, though, you go ahead and do that on your own. That's going to be a good exercise for you. It's going to help you develop better skills in terms of your wordsmithing, your straight up raw ability to use words. So now, if you struggle typing, usually in word processing software nowadays, there's actually a dictation tool. I know in Word, the recent versions of Word, you can see up there a little microphone that allows you just to talk, and Word types it for you. So these are tools we cannot ignore. We can't pretend that they're not going to change the way we write. We can't pretend that they're not going to change the way college is done. I don't want you to just have AI write all your papers, but I do expect you to use it to get sources, to find thoughts, to get the raw material, right? And then you take the raw material and you put it in an essay yourself, okay? So I think that's a pretty good compromise. My contact information is online somewhere. I can give it to you really quickly right now, but you can also find it on the syllabus or in an announcement or somewhere that's posted saying my contact. You can send me an email at matthew.horn@tric.edu, mathew.horn@tric.edu. My primary email is a Kent State email address. It's mhorn3, the number 3. So it's mhorn3 at kent.edu. So you're welcome to use those two. I prefer you use my Kent because I check that every day. The very best way to get a hold of me is through texting me. All right, you can text, you can call. When you text me, you just say, "Hey, Dr. Horn, this is John from Tri-C or whatever," so I know you're a student of mine. Obviously, you're not going to be in my contacts, but you text me, I can get that response to you right away, clear things up, right? You don't have to be checking your email. My phone number is 330-256-1703. 330-256-1703. Please no 2 a.m. phone calls, okay? I know you scallywags out there might want to do that, but you're welcome to text and call, okay? Just, again, let me know who you are, and for me, that's really the easiest way. That's the common sense way. And again, this contact information will also be online somewhere, so take a look at that. All right, but I want you to know that I'm very approachable. You can talk to me, you can text me, you can call me. I'm very laid back. I might be one of the most laid back teachers that you're going to run into, which is a blessing and a curse, I guess. But I don't really take myself too seriously, or the class for that matter. My big picture here is I need to help you grow. I need to help you grow intellectually. If the class works for you, that's great. If not, then talk to me and maybe we can do something on the side that can help you grow. But you should be concerned about your intellectual growth. And I think that just staying at that big level goal is good. I don't know really what you're going to do with research papers down the line, but are you becoming a better reader? Are you becoming a little bit of a better writer? Are you becoming a better talker? Are you becoming a better thinker? Notice how many of those things have to do with words. Are you learning how to be better with words? That's what you need to be doing with your general level classes. So, hey, thank you for watching. Be sure to watch the other videos that give you more instruction about the research paper.